So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream for YouTube and Ustream with live peoples, and I'm colouring with some really special watercolours that I bought recently. Treated myself to 6 colours because that's all I really needed to give me most colours I would ever want to make. So there's going to be a little bit of colour mixing, so that from 6 colours, some were £12, some were 6, but I think at the moment you can get professional watercolours for £7 or £8. And it's quite a lot, but these are beautiful, well pigmented colours, and also they will give you a sense of you're playing with the real things, with the big boys' toys kind of things. And also, the colours are different because they're so pigmented. You're not playing with children's watercolours, which are brilliant to practice with. But then when you want to play with proper colour, and these colouring books do, if they're £10 a time, you do want to play with proper colour. Then after you've had a bit of a play and you've had a bit of colour mixing, this set, when considering how hundreds of pounds for other sets, this will last you a long time. And the beauty is you can just reconstitute them back with water. So have a play with them, but you can get cheaper ones and more expensive ones. But what I wanted to do is to use traditional watercolours but dry in the Imagimoorphia books. I've got 2 of the books, Imagimoorphia and Animorphia, and this one's Imagimoorphia by Kerby Rosanes, and I thought I would use traditional colours as in a watercolour. I did a video when I was ill, and I really like playing with mixing my own colour. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Thank you for just making sure that I'm in focus and I'm the right way up and everything else. And I really like playing with. This is very dry. This is really flat, but I can get a watercolor effect without lots and lots of water. So that's my aim. And your page stays flat, but you're playing with proper nice watercolors and mixing your own colors, which do not ever come out of a jar. And I think that there is something quite nice about that. So because it was a chicken, I picked the last page because it was all floral. So a bit of a chicken. I realised that, well, one leaf could be one colour, the roses could be another colour, and that's how I picked out these things to make quite a complicated pattern easy to colour. Probably can't find my page, so I'm going to do the bunnies. And again, I have no idea, or hares I think they are because they've got long legs, no idea what colour I want to do the rabbits, but I'm going to pick out the same leaf, and what that will do is it will make other things stand out, and that's what I intend to do. So for my colours, I have got Winsor & Newton Professional Colour Series 3 Cerulean Blue, Winsor & Newton Professional Colour French Ultramarine Series 2. The reason was the French Ultramarine wasn't in Series 3, and I wanted all to high quality, but I wanted ultramarine, so that's why I chose it. Lemon Yellow, which is Series 4, Elysium Crimson Series 1. Again, that's not a pure pigment, but I wanted that colour because I'd been playing with Elysium Crimson, so I had a rough idea basically what it does. Cadmium Red Series 4, and the last one is Cadmium Yellow Series 4. So, but these are quite large pans. These are 14 mil. Sorry, not pans. So quite liked these, and because I'm zoomed in, it might not do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit, I wanted a green, so I want a nice cool green. So we always said that the cool, on the colour wheel, the cool blue and the cool yellow are closest. So they are going to give you a brightest green. So if we put a touch of that there, and then I'm just going to, you have to bear with my children, not used to being left on their own too much. And then a touch of this yellow here. That's going to give me, and there isn't actually enough there, but so that's quite a pale, oh, I'm not in, that's quite a pale colour. So there is some blue on there, so we'll put some more blue. Perhaps I should have been a bit braver and used more, but tight Yorkshire lass. So I'm going to put that there. These are a little bit sticky, actually, I have to say. They're a little bit sticky. I like that green though. That's quite a nice green. A little bit paler. So just as a comparison, we'll get another, because I'm going to do all the greens, we'll do this. So that's the cadmium yellow, which is warmer. And then I'll get let me have a look. So then I want I'm going to put this blue because I think this is still going to give me a nice green. So that's quite nice. Nigel, sorry. Nigel, thank you. So that's a bright green. So I've got kind of a dullish one and a bright green, and 4 paintbrushes on the go now. So then I need another paintbrush, and I would take the cadmium yellow here, and I'm going to take the French ultramarine, and that's given me quite a nice green as well. And then I'm going to keep that because I quite like these colours. I'm going to use, sorry, some more grumping going on. So then the last one will be the lemon yellow, the cold yellow. Oops, which is here. And the French ultramarine. Oops, sorry, I'm not in frame of it. And that's given quite a dark, dull one because, of course, they're the furthest away. So I've now got some quite nice shades in 6 brushes, which will enable me to have a real good play, actually. Now, so if I take my glasses off, and you wanted the consistency of single cream, really, because this is different to the working out of the little book that I was doing earlier. This is proper watercolouring, but this is a paper page. I think I like this particular one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these colours, which are mainly yellows, and I've got the 3 greens, the 4 greens here on my paintbrushes I've mixed. Now I do like this particular fern here. Just bear with me 2 seconds, scratching the glasses. Right there. And I think that might be that little oops, that little bit. Now I've just made a, oops, just dropped some colour onto there. Look, silly me, because my paintbrush is in the wrong way. That's quite wet, is that, I have to say. So I'm going to twist as much colour off there as possible, so there is not a lot of colour, and so that paper will take that. So really taking off a lot of colour, and then just kind of stroking the colour in. So this is a little bit wetter than the other way of working, but you're in control. Now maybe the longer brush isn't the brilliant one to use, but what that's doing is I'm just going to give that little bit more. I want that just a little bit more control. But do remember that all this is dried, this is pure colour. This will not go anywhere. And when you reconstitute it, it will go back to being watercolour, however many times you put water to it. Again, that's just that little bit too wet for me. I've got used to working quite dry. Oh, look at my, that's not good. Let me just wipe that off my hand, otherwise I'm not quite sure how I did that, but I've ended up with a lot of colour on there. Oops, look, an awful lot of colour. But never mind, I've wiped it with a baby wipe, so I've now got this horrible yellow stain on there, but never mind. So again, just stroking the page, and you're not wetting the page very much. Oh, sorry, dog alert. Dog alert. Again, this is the nice way of working. I've got a long rigger. Oh, excuse me. This is a half rigger. Oh, it says it's a rigger, but it's, yes, I suppose it is a rigger if you look at it that way. Maybe that's a little bit too wobbly. I just need some water here to play with, because every time I cross over, I knock something. So if I just put that in there, so can everybody see that? And that's, I'm sure my husband made me a cup of tea, but I don't know where it is. Never mind. So I quite like that. It's a pale colour, and then the one next to it, I can do one of two things. I can stay in there, or I can just add a touch of another colour. So no, but I quite like those being the same, I think. So I'm going to just put those paintbrushes down, and I'm just going to continue to pick out what I would class as a little fern. And again, just stroke the colour in. There's no pressure on your hand. I've had to mix the colour, but that's sometimes fun. And I'm just, I think my daughter's got lost in Manchester, bless her. But she's not alone, so she'll be fine. But they panic. They're not streetwise, bless them. We're little country bumpkins out here, so. But I'm sure my other daughter will be looking after them, so they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I'm not panicking. So it's a good job I didn't wait for the paints. So is everybody all right with that? Can everybody see that? That is, it looks, I'll throw my glasses over there now. There we go. It's just kind of, so now I can actually see that there's a proper head behind there, little bunny. Sorry, a hare, it's got long ears. I've still got my colours in here. I chose that one. So I'm going to pick all those ferns that I can see, and there's another one there behind there. And again, I didn't see that. So once you've picked that one out, and I am working very, very dry, taking so much off that paintbrush. There's hardly anything on that paintbrush at all, so that I am not going to damage this paper, and it will not crinkle. It will just take that. Now, what I couldn't do, well, I suppose I could, but what I'm not going to do is go back in there like I did with my way of working in my little book. Because I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to take another little brush. I will get there eventually. I'm going to take another brush, and I'm going to just gently tease a little bit out there. But I don't like that colour, so I'm going to go back here with it. And what that has done has given me a slight highlight. Oh, it wasn't enough, but never mind, it might have worked. Wait a second. That's given me, yes, it will do event. I can pop it in later. Just a very slight highlight on there, just to make that a little bit paler. And moving along, we have, I think that's the back of one of those. I think. There's a fern here. So I'm going to put that paintbrush down because that's got a highlight on it. Go back into this one. And this probably is the other way that I want just a tidge of the darker. So I've just touched a little bit of that, and I'm going to take it over here. And so now I have 3 shades, all from there, so they will match because they've come from there. And that's another thing about unifying colours. But I am trying to twist a lot of that colour off so that I am not going to destroy. I'm not going to destroy this page with too much water. And the page will be flat. So again, just a little bit more into there, just teasing the colour. Again, there is a lot of colour in this rigger. So it's a good way of working because the rigger will instill that this leaf is going to be flat. I don't need to do anything to this. There's so much colour, it's not really going to change that much. If the end was colour and that was water, then it would change and I could play with the colour, but I don't need to do that. So that's given me the same leaf, but it's a little bit darker. And if we move across, there's some toadstools. I'm trying to find another. There must be some more leaves somewhere. Has to be. I'll move those paintbrushes out of the way because we don't need them. And I'll pop the mouse up there. And it's a good idea to do this with your colours because it lends itself to manoeuvring around a little bit. So there's another one there, and that's actually a little bit darker, so I'm going to do that one darker, I think. I think I'm going to do that one, or perhaps dark there. Just put that light back on because that will change the light, hopefully. And again, you see, that's dry. We've just painted that with watercolour and it's dry. So that, again, is another lovely way of working. Especially if you're clumsy like me and you pop your arm in things. Now, I do have the lights on here, I have to admit, but still, this is quite nice. Not sure if I like these colours, have to say that, at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be fine. And I just have to keep playing about. I didn't do this the same as I did the other one. I must have worked a lot lighter. This is a thicker kind of paint. This isn't as watercolory as the horse one I did. So I may have to rethink this, I think. But it's going to be a different colour. So it doesn't matter, it's just going to be a different colour. So that's fine. It's a different way of working. If every page in the book was the same, it would be extremely boring. So experimenting with traditional watercolours is fine. And we have, again, because that's picked that out now, that's made that toadstool behind there look so much bigger. That's made it look so much bigger. And that's almost dry. And we've just done it. So that's really good. That's a different leaf. So I'm going to do that paler. Probably do that. There's another one. So we've got that one and that one. They seem to come off the bunnies though. They kind of see sprout out of the, not the bunnies, the hairs. I keep calling them bunnies. They sprout out of the hairs to those. So that's going to be a bit of a morph job then, isn't it? But that's definitely one of these. So we can paint that one in. Oh, I don't know actually. I'm confused now. Well, I'm going to do them like that, and if I have to morph them into the bunny, then I morph them into the bunny. It's not a traditional bunny scene, is it? That's the only way to look at it. It's not a traditional bunny scene. So, again, just stroking a little bit of colour in. These are probably thicker than I would normally use, but once I've made up lots of colours, I probably will enjoy morphing them into unusual colours. But I quite like the idea, and they look rather different as well. So thanks for everybody for joining me. This is a live stream and I have a cup of tea which morphed from somewhere. I think I've just been hours off camera then. I'm sorry about that. I've just done that one. Again, it's still quite a dry way of working because it's dry, and that's why your pages do not ruffle. I think that's going to be a leaf as well. There. So we'll just give that a little bit of colour. Sorry, the puppy's in, because my daughter's not at home and she's not been able to play with them. He's having one of his stroppy moments. And he winds the other dogs up. Yes, he's winding them up. So that they just want to be naughty. Oh, it's a madhouse. It's a madhouse. So I'm teasing that colour up to there. I quite like these flat ferns because they are kind of fern coloured. Don't think you can work any wetter than this. This is probably about as wet as you, if you want to keep your pages flat. And if you want to give them a traditional watercolour look, I think you need to keep this brush fairly dry and just gently stroke that in. I think my little laptop's kind of so I changed the colour a little bit, and I'm still kind of dipping into this little area here. So I've got some highlights, medium, the original colour, and dark. And I'm not adding red to anything, which is the complementary colour. Sorry, I have to move my legs. Oh dear. So that's another thing that I'm not doing. Ow, ow. So I'm going to look for another one, which is that one, but it's coming out of his ears, but never mind. Hey ho. Perhaps I should have been brave and done the bunnies first. So just bear me 2 seconds. I'm just going to move. So if I take this, and I've still got quite a lot of colour on here. So I'm just quite a lot of colour. And remember, this is watercolour, it's not acrylic. It's going on quite thick, is this. I think it's because of the pigments. I'd forgotten about how different cheapy ones are to more expensive ones, but never mind, we'll get there. So that's quite a nice morphy colour. And of course, the more you wet them, then the colour they get. I just saw one down here. There's one there. So I'm still playing, and again, that's dry already. So that's quite nice. There are a couple of lights here, so that makes a difference, but you know, it doesn't make that much of a difference. So again, just picking that off there. And it's only when you start drawing, colouring in, that you see lots of things that are happening that you don't normally see. A little bit the Colin Thompson one. You know, there are things going on that you would have missed. And that's the other side of that leaf, which of course could be in shadow. So we can give that another bit of that. So we'll have to see what that does. I think that's a leaf, but I can't quite, just can't quite, I think it is. I think that's the other side of that. So we'll pop that in there. That's given that some quite nice things. And so we've picked out one or two, which isn't many, but never mind. So, oh, there's this one. So this is a different green. So I'm going to go over here, because this is a bit of a different green. This is a normal leaf green. So again, I'm going to really twist that colour out. I just want that on the end, and then I can just again start stroking this completely different green, and it has a different blue and it has a different yellow, and there is no way that this is going to be anywhere near that other one. Now when you start adding warmth, the red to it, that's the difference. The orange, that's the difference. So that should look quite nice. And that again is going to look different. Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm not in, I do apologise, I'm not in frame. So I'm using this green this time, and I'm just stroking this colour into here. Whoopsie. I think my husband's a bit upset because my daughter's late. Normally they're always both together, and they used to say we're like twins rather than sisters, and I think it's a bit of a shock to both of them, although she did Skype for hours on end. So that looks quite nice. That's a bit different as well. So there's two different greens there. So we could do maybe with, oh, this one. So if I just, sorry about moving it about, that one there. And I'm still using this green here. And that's going to show a big difference then, because it's really next to it now. And just by picking off all the green leaves, as I say, because I'm a chicken, that's lent this to have a really kind of sense of order, as I call it. So I can see that foot goes behind there, but there's a toadstool. Whereas without the green there, I would have missed that. So it does kind of put things a little bit better in perspective, literally, so that you can see exactly what's going on. And like the Colin Thompson ones, that the Kerby Rosanes and some of the other ones are so complicated that sometimes you need some kind of unity, like picking the green things that you know what they are, what colour they should be. So I'm actually morphing that into there. I don't know if I should be doing that, but I am doing. And I quite like that idea there as well. And this is very flat colour. This isn't making it watercolour. This is rather flat. Oh, bye, Vicky. Thank you for joining us, darling. Have a good afternoon, evening, or tea, wherever we may be on the planet. So there's another little bit of green there. So I say I'm going to use this pale because I quite like the pale colour. So already on my palette, I had 2 blues and 2 yellows, but I've got at least 6 greens in that one, a couple of greens in that one, and then 2 in there. And so from those colours, and they're completely different because, as I say, there's a cool blue and a warm blue, and that makes your paintings, your colourings, completely different. You could not get these out of a tin. You could not. You can get some near colours, but you are working with a colour that you may never make again, or if you make your colour swatches, you might remember this and go, I remember that gorgeous green that I made. And that's why we did the colour swatches for about 3 weeks, to really get into colour mixing and picking out the fact that this is a cold yellow and a cold blue. And so you're going to have no red in there hardly. And so that's going to be, that's going to give you something completely different. So if I just turn that round a little bit, we should have some more. Oh, there's some here, look. So again, that's almost dry, so I'm going to pick this one off. And now I've done it, I didn't know whether I should have done a fawn colour, but never mind. But we don't have to have brown bunnies' hairs, do we? We don't have to have brown bunnies. This is a colouring book. We can have whatever colour we want. And they can obviously morph into whatever colour. I probably will do them brown because there's some nice red toadstools, which I'm going to do next. So I've now filled my palette with green, and really I need now 6 or 7 reds. And this again is a different way of working, which some people might prefer. Some people might think, oh, I couldn't mix my own colours, can't be bothered. I feel like that most of the time. But sometimes I think, oh, I'm quite enjoying myself. And when you look at the completely different colours on the page, then the other things that have come straight from the pencil book that I have, you realise that, oh, actually, that's quite a good colour. And those colours work quite nicely, and yet I've made them up as I've gone along. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Bye. Thanks for joining me. It's droning on a little bit, but if I just carry on for a few more minutes, I'll zoom out and you can see how just doing those few leaves. In fact, I think I've probably got there now. But tight Yorkshire lass, I can't wash that paintbrush out. I'm sorry, it's full of colour. Really can't do that. I'm just going to move that. What I'll do is I'm just going to, because I may have to go soon because I think hubby's panicking. What I'll do is I'll just, I need to move that. So I've crinkled my page because I dropped water on it and then I wiped it. But it isn't crinkled as such. It's just, I can paint over the top. There's a little smudge of yellow there. But if I just kind of, if I just do that and then do this, I hope you can see that I've only done, whoops, a few bunnies. Sorry, I've done a few leaves. But it's made quite a bit of difference. I have to just stop that because it will jump. It's made quite a bit of difference. We've got a little bit of definition under there. We've got these beautiful ears here and a toadstool, which I couldn't see before. And here, there's more definition here now. There's a toadstool, but there's also a foot in front of the toadstool, which would have been really easy just to kind of go over that. Behind here, there's a toadstool as well. So it's just picked out just a few spaces. And when you're concentrating on doing something, you can see things behind and think, oh, that's what that is. So my next trip is going to be all the toadstools because there's so many. And then once I've done the toadstools, lots of things will pop out. Like there's a cube there, there's a snail, there's a little bunny there, there's a coil there, flowers. So I've got to decide what type of mushrooms to do because they're all different patterns. So did that make any sense? Yes, yes, Timothy, it does, doesn't it? What it does is it just makes that a little bit simpler. It just makes that, it just makes it, and that makes it easy to, all I've done is picked off 10 leaves, 2, 4, 6, 10 leaves, and I've made a few greens. And that's what I've done there. But it's just made that little bit easier to kind of pick out. So I think that's going to be a red toadstool, but then some of these are different. So I'm going to have to decide which I'm going to do. I like the little ones to be red because I think they stick out. So I'm just going to have a quick play with the red. I'll stay zoomed out and then you can see in better terms what happens. I think I'm going to be in trouble with these paintbrushes if I don't wash the colour out, so that might not work for very long. I'm going to use a smaller brush because the only thing I've got to remember is this is watercolour, and where my little book is normally perfect at not spilling, this is proper watercolour, so I'm just going to pop that on there just to protect it. So I want a nice toadstool colour. I'm going to pop that back in there, and I think they're going to probably be this kind of ruby red. And again, a bit of photocopy paper, just to have a bit of a play. Not sure if I like that red. I think I need some red. And again, you see, not sure about that red. But if I do this, so I've used half alizarin crimson and I've used half cadmium red. I think that's my toadstool colour. I think I just have to have another bit of a play without my glasses on. Yes, I like that colour. So I now have my little mushroom colour. So I'm going to start. Is everybody all right with that? Yes, it just makes them, they're not complicated, but there's just a lot going on, and it kind of just sorts things out. You see, the wood for the trees, as we usually say, and I think that makes a big difference. So I like the fact that this is going to be a little red toadstool down here, and I do have quite a lot of colour there, so that's going to last me. And again, working quite dry, but wetter than before. And I think I might just let some of these natural circles that have been sketched in, I could probably leave those and either put them in later as a highlight or leave them white. But quite childish. I like my little red toadstools, I have to say. Now this colour is getting paler because it's drying out. But that's a nice little set now of toadstools. I think that's the back leg of the bunny. Here's a toadstool, so I'll zoom in a little bit more. Yes, it does. It helps to pick it out, Timothy. Yes, if you pick out certain elements, and also I pick out the easiest ones, like, you know, I know a leaf is green if I'm going to be like that, and I know that a mushroom's red. Really simple terms, but it just makes them easy, because some of these a little bit, especially with those little creatures in there, I don't know what they're called, but they kind of throw me a little bit. So I have to say I do like that. So if I just do this, give me 2 seconds. Just to make sure I keep this safe. That's the little bunny. There's the bunny, and that's a little mushroom there. So I am still working. I'm still working, picking out the little red toadstools in this little drop of cadmium red and alizarin crimson. So it's not a cool red and it's not a really pinky red, but it's turned out to be just a nice red for what I want. So I think my husband's getting tired, bless him. So I'll just do for a little while and then I'll pick out the toadstools, but there are a lot of toadstools on here, so I'll pick these out and then I may have to go and do something else apart from play all day, which is what I do. So that's picked out another little one. I hope I'm still in focus. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So there's quite a few there. So sometimes I just need to take my glasses off, really, but hey ho. So if I pick up all these, there's going to be some quite nice red and green going on. So I think these hares or bunnies can be fawn coloured, and that will lend itself to some really nice watercolouring, whereas I think the leaves and these little toadstools can be quite dramatic and bright. And then you've got the pale fawn colours of the leather of the bunnies. So I hope everybody's found this interesting. Watching paint dry. This is Bunny's Designs. It's a live stream on YouTube with live peoples all popping in and having a natter, which is wonderful. And listening to my droning voice. Dulcet tones or droning voice, depending on I have to be patient when streaming being done. Yes, Timothy. Yeah. I kind of just go in a little bubble, and I just kind of I'm mesmerized by watching people paint. When I was really ill, I just watched hours and hours, and then fell asleep, and then watched hours. So I basically watched the same 5 minutes 10 times. I'm not sure what to do about that. I think I'm going to actually just do that. If I want to, I can go back and give them a bit of low light, some other things. But again, you see, that's made a nice little area now down there. Whereas, now, do I need different mushrooms next to each other? No, I think mushrooms grow in the same thing, don't they, together? We have rings of mushrooms down the garden, and you'd swear it was a fairy ring. It's just it's a perfect circle. You could not imagine nature being so clever. And I took some photographs, which I could paint those actually, I'll draw them. And I took some photographs of them because I was just mesmerised. But I put the camera onto the ground because it's a phone camera. So these mushrooms look huge. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do this little red cap here. And I'm going to have to kind of make up a few little, I think. I think I might do that. I mean, I can always go back in here with a bit deeper colour, and to add some gorgeous shades of red by adding green, the complementary colour, I can make some amazing changes to a flat surface. And that gives you some really lovely deep dull reds, which will make all those look different. So that's my idea. So we've done all those little mushrooms in there, and then there seems to be quite a few in here as well. Oh, hi musical stopper. Hi everybody, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Thank you for popping in and popping out and stopping with me. That's wonderful. I'm so in awe of everybody, and so excited to get to 2 people off 100 subscribers. I just think that is just amazing that there's 100 people who want to listen to me waffling about paint. and watching paint dry, but I do appreciate it. And everybody has busy lives and lots of other things to do. It's very, very appreciative to. It's very lovely for people to show their appreciation by stopping in and watching. So I'm quite enjoying these little red toadstools. So hi everybody, if I've missed anybody. Who have we got? Oh, hi Jean, welcome back. Enjoy your coffee. Is it Jean that said the coffee? I've got glasses on, but I'm going cross-eyed now. So again, behind that leg, there is a toadstool. I think I'm just obsessed with little red toadstools that I always do red. Perhaps I should have done it all brown fawns. But, oh, sorry, puppy alert. He's been a bit of a grump pants. So I'll just... But again, that's sorted out that little section there. There's another leaf there. There's some grass. So, and that's... Once I put the stems of all the mushrooms, then that's going to sort the legs out for the rabbits, and I don't accidentally colour one of those in. So I'm still playing with this red here, which again is this is not out of a tube. This is my colour from half. Oh, there is a puppy under. No, there isn't a puppy under there. Oh, where the puppy's gone. Puppy. I don't mean puppy. I mean monster. So I'm going to do that one next. I hope. Oh, thank you. No musical, Scrap of Darling. I had lunch earlier, and I've to try and control the pain. I'm trying to control what I eat, and whenever I'm doing this, I'm not particularly hungry. But I think hubby is. So I actually cooked tea yesterday, first time in weeks, and was able to stand up for more than 10 minutes. But I put something in the ActiFry and pressed a button, then I sat down, then I put something else in the other ActiFry, pressed a button, and then turned a pan on, and then everybody just 20 minutes later turned up. So when I say cook, I used to cook from scratch. Everything, can't do that anymore now. So, but I did actually manage to prepare a meal, shall we say. Oh, oh, Jean, course you are. I do apologise. Sorry, darling, I do apologise. I'm terrible at remembering names. Oh, it's fine. It's only, well, I say it's only arthritis. It's a bit of a pain, but there are a lot worse things I could have. And I get a bit messed up with the, I don't like taking painkillers, but when I stop, it sneaks up on me, and then I end up on Oromorph, and I end up in a lot of pain for weeks on end. So it's a little bit my own fault, but I just don't like taking painkillers 24/7 and being completely off my face. It's not good streaming when you're off your face. So I do try, and I must admit, when I'm doing this, I forget about pain, and that's why I do it. Yeah, they are really good, and that's why I watercolour. That's why I watercolour, because I'm concentrating. And when I'm concentrating, and I told my my cousin this when I met her in hospital, I said, I'm sure it cuts some of the synapses, that the pain nerves are doing something else. They're watching me and making sure I don't go over a line, instead of running to my head going, oh, your head hurts, oh, your foot hurts. And instead of doing that, they're going, oh, watch that line. So while they're doing that, they're not telling the brain that you're in pain. It doesn't always work, but it does sometimes. And I think she said that they've proved it does help. I want to see in every emergency unit Game Boys or little kind of games for kids to do, because when they're doing that, they're not thinking about the pain. I mean, obviously, if your leg's hanging off, it doesn't always work. But if you give a game to a child, an electronic game, it will help a little bit. And I think it's a distraction rather than hearing children screaming. No, my everybody went into panic mode because when they took my blood pressure, it was 120 over 185. And my husband's got a bad heart, and he went, "Oh, mine wasn't that high." But I did tell the doctor that I was rather cross with her, and I said to her very rudely, as I walked out of her, I said, "If I was an animal, you would be getting into trouble for leaving me in so much pain. It would not be allowed." And she just looked at me. It was not a nice place to be, I have to say. But I get myself into this, that when this pain particularly comes, I've had 5 babies, not a patch. Not a patch. It's horrid, absolutely horrid. So I have to say, this is why I drone on and on and on. But we have to be chirpy, don't we? And I always think there are worse things we could have. So, and if I can inspire anybody to sit and do something, because I sat for months doing absolutely nothing but watching. I watched YouTube videos, but I just couldn't lift anything. So, and sorry, little puppy alert. I don't know why I call him a puppy. He's probably about 107, I think. He's a Heinz 57. Nobody knows how old he is. He's probably 12, 14, 16. Deaf as a post, so he barks to cut himself. But I'm, as I say, I can't remember what I was saying now. Something about droning on about something, probably. It's just nice to do something instead of sitting there. Like everybody does all the housework, they do everything, and I sit there and I used to feel so much guilt and so guilty that my children were dressing me and washing my hair and patting my hair at bedtime, and I've had to stop that. I've had to say, I'm here, that's it. And I feel a lot better for that, I have to say. So, but they think this is great for me to do this. They think this is great. So I've picked out, look, quite a lot of the toadstools in there. I think this isn't really an art stream. I think this is therapy stream. I think it's more for therapy. Well, it is. It's art for therapy. That's what I actually put on the thing. I like it to be art for therapy for whatever reason. If you're a bit stressed, my daughter gets het up with her exams. If you just need something to do because you don't read, everybody needs something. So I'm a big believer in, and I love the fact that colouring in's come back, because I tell everybody to colour in. Always been telling people to colour in, because the grandparents are always so happy to sit to colour with the grandchildren, although I don't have any at the moment. But so I think that's amazing. So there's lots and lots of toadstools in there. Lots of toadstools. So I apologise for going on a rabbit trail and a what's it trail? Pain relief trail. Yeah, it's quite nice mushrooms. I'm quite pleased I've done the red, because that's going to really sit out with the greens now. If I just take that out a smidging. Oh, clickety click, clickety click. Let's show the whole page. There's quite a lot of mushrooms on that one page. And I'm still working out from that red. So that's quite good, and that's my little water pot there. So that section's become quite alive here now, and there's quite a few under there as well. So if I just squiddle back in a little bit, I'll finish that little section there, and then that might take us up. Hopefully I'm in frame photos. Hopefully that will just that's what I was looking at. I was going to see what time we were on. It's almost an hour, so I'll just finish that little bit. And thanks guys for stopping in and having a natter and keeping me company. It's brilliant. I'm just going to pick out these little tiny mushrooms, and I'll have a bit of a think about the other mushrooms, what I'm going to do. I really can't remember what I was going to draw for Inktober, so I'm going to have a good think about that. I like the idea of doing the abbey, but I can't think if I'm going to be clever enough because I haven't drawn for such a long time. There's another little one down here. So there's a little tiny ones. Oh look, there's quite a few. Oh my, look at those. So if I twiddle that round that side, we can see the colour and the consistency. It's probably the single cream that I have to say. Double cream for acrylics and oils, single for watercolour, but each to their own. This just enables your book to sit very flat. I might actually want just a little bit darker, that one. I'm going to just put that little bit of Elysian Crimson in there, just purely to see if I could just give a little bit of variation to that one behind. Just a teeny bit. Just a teeny bit. That's just done what I wanted to do. And this one I'm going under here now, because I want these to kind of just sit out. Now we could put little white dots of something or other on here to make them, when I was a child we used to have mushrooms, but they had, I can't think what they were, but they were kind of raised up, and I thought, oh, I quite like that. So let's see, I probably would just watercolour in here, because I have so many other books that I've pulled apart that I can manipulate and add on and cut up and add to. So I think I like the fact that this is going to be a watercolouring mode book. What do I want to do? I want to mix my own colours, pick this book up. And each book is going to hold its own kind of fascination for me, if that's the word. Practice with oils, practice with acrylics, and just practice mixing colours. Do excuse me, my husband's made me some cold tea. Oops. Oh gosh, I need to put tea everywhere then. Must be getting tired. Yes, Timothy, I think the same. I'm so amazed of how wonderful people are on Ustream, and how supportive everybody is, and nobody's judgmental. I love it. I have to say. And I've started I've managed to do two. Don't ask me why, but there's a Bunny's Designs Facebook group, and I'm trying to link it so that my friends and family, because they don't know I stream, are not the same. Cold tea. It's cold tea. It's warm tea that's gone lukewarm, almost cold. So I've found this, and I've also got watercolouring as well, but I want to try and put it all together on Bunny's Designs on Facebook, so that can be kind of, everybody can get together and be in the same place and see the same things, and add artwork, so that people who are doing the same pages can put theirs on, and that we can all see the same page done by lots of different people all over the world in lots of different colours and lots of different mediums. And I think that would be really exciting to do as well. And the Facebook group, I think you can do live streams now. So again, I can stream Inktober, and I think that would be quite good. So as I say, I haven't quite worked out what I'm doing yet, but I know I want to do something, if that makes sense. So that, and I love paint-alongs as well. So that might be another way to do it on Facebook as a paint-along. And then it's just a small private group. But everybody can put their artwork on there. Everybody's connected. And I can do paint-alongs and draw-alongs and whatever along. So I quite like all these toadstools there. They are, I don't know if it's a mistake to have more red, but hey ho, it's my colour book, to coin a phrase. It's so awful when you watch somebody for hours on end, especially when you're going to sleep. It's a bit like brainwashing. If I can't sleep, I had like 2 hours sleep yesterday, and I was watching something, and if you're watching something so many times, you end up saying the same phrases and the same words. When I go to Ireland, I come back with an Irish accent. I can't help it. I just morph into wherever I am. I don't know if that makes me a fickle person, but I just automatically morph into where, if I'm in Scotland for more than 4 days, I have a Scottish accent. Oh, thank you, Jean. Thank you ever so much. Thank you. Well, it'll be tea drinking, wine slurping sometimes. But I think we could. I'd love to see everybody else's pages, because somebody might want to do purple bunnies and purple leaves and green bunnies, and I think it's art, especially colouring in, it is so different, and I think that would be quite exciting. So I'm going to try and change my Facebook thing so that it can be somewhere where it's just, oh, I've covered in the little thingies, but never mind. It can be somewhere where people can put the same artwork and natter about artwork, and if somebody puts if I put this picture up, somebody else can see it and think, oh, I painted that, so they can upload a picture underneath this one, and then somebody else can do the same, and I think that is just amazing. Oh, thank you, Timothy. You don't think it's droning on and on. Thank you. I love all accents, but my daughters take the mickey out of me because they say, Mummy, that's your telephone voice. Sorry, bark alert. This is the delightful bark bunny. Looks like an angel, but he's not. So I'm quite enjoying picking out all these toadstool. Yes, I love foreign accents, have to say. Love. I think English is a bit boring. And I love the American accent. When we were students, I'm sure when we used to go out, we used to talk in accents all night just for a laugh. Don't know if they still do that or not. You see, I don't know if people would call that racist now. We wouldn't mean it to be. We would just all pretend to be American or all pretend to be whatever. And my daughter, my middle daughter, who's doing the animation, she does voices, and she does the meerkats and Olaf, and she does some fantastic accents. And I think it's wonderful, and she's the most unracist, she just loves everybody and everything on the planet. She loves everything. And when they were saying about our friends, everybody was really clever, and I said to my husband the other day, they might not be the A-star students, but they've hearts of gold, and I think that's worth more. They're not going to be the next rocket scientists. Having said that, oh, I bet that was funny. Yeah, I love all accents. Yeah, I love all accents. Yeah, you see, the thing is, am I being rude if I say good day, Bruce? I just I just love to say that. It's just when I was younger, we had Channel 4 started, and we had two programs. Oh, sorry, running alert. We had Sons and Daughters and Neighbours. And I love Sons and Daughters, and that didn't last as long, obviously, as Neighbours did. But of course, we were all talking in Australian accents forever because it was on two or three times a week. Um, and I just think it's wonderful that I love and cartoon characters, Deputy Dog, and I was brought up with and Top Cat and things. Top Cat's now actually back in the UK in an advert. Um, but my children say that I'm an old fuddy duddy, and I said, but I don't, I don't see things. I don't see bad in things. I just say things because I can't. I don't mean them in a mean way. Timothy says, I think it's embracing and cherishing differences. Yes, it is. It is. It is that. It is. I hope I'm still in frame. Can't imagine how I thought there was half a dozen little red toadstools, but there's quite a few. But I think that's another thing about Ustream and YouTube. Um, there's everybody has so much in common that we can't see that. Somebody will be sitting in a house, one side of the world, colouring in the same page as another person at the other side of the world, and Ustream's brought that together, and I just think that's amazing. I do. I think that's wonderful. The only thing I always say is everybody has to be kind. My philosophy is I don't care what anybody does as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. They can do what they like. But my children think I'm old fashioned. But I do love Ustream, and I just find that people are living in other countries. It's wonderful. I'm poorly. Sometimes I've not been out of the house for weeks on end, and yet I travel all over the world, listen to where people are doing and what they're doing, and that's wonderful as well. And when my mum-in-law came, she's 92. I was watching live, and I explained to her that we were watching safari live. So there was an elephant actually crossing the road at that moment in Africa on that road, and I just that kind of blew my mind. It was fab. I mean, we always brought up with David Attenborough and Jacques Cousteau. Um, yes, we won't go to the French accent. It's quite awesome. But so again, I see I've picked off quite a few of those. And I think there's probably more toadstools than there are rabbits or hares. So I'll just pop that there for a second and pan out because I think hubby's a bit distressed because our little baby's at home. We're home alone. We could have a party. It's awful getting old. We could do what we want and all we want is the kids home. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? So, can we all see all those toadstools? If I try not to make you too sick. I have my camera on my little flexi. But there's a lot of toadstools there. And of course there's this big beautiful one here. And some rather large ones. Haven't decided what to do with those yet. So I hope you found that interesting, and it's quite interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do with these colours. I think I'm just going to have to wash them out. Be brave, Heather. Be brave and just wash your paintbrushes out. I still got all that colour on here. Yes, we will. I love, the one thing I do love. Oh, wow, a streamathon, Jean. Wow, that would be fab. That would be fab. You'll have to tell me how you do that, because I say I want, I always miss everybody's notifications. I don't know what my phone used to ping all the time and drive my husband nuts. And I've done something, and now I don't get any notifications when anybody comes on at all. So I quite like those colours. That's my funny lamp, isn't it? I think. So I did quite like those colours. Oopsie. And that red, I think when I get the browns on those, on the hares and the bunnies, and I get some really gorgeous greys and browns, I think the reds will kind of keep down. Oh yes, I'm on Twitter. I will sort my accounts out. I've just put the sketch of the, I just put the sketch up that I had. It's gone very dark over there. I think probably the light's going today, because obviously it's oh my goodness, it's 20 to 8 in England in the evening. So I've had a good waffle. Thank you for joining me, guys. It's really grand to try and see a bit of chat and make sure everybody's having a good time, and hopefully picked up a few hints and tips. Everybody does the books differently, and I love that. I think that is fab. But I say I'm going to try and get the Facebook going, so that if it's Bunny's Designs, and if everybody goes to Bunny's Designs on Facebook, I can put everybody in that group, and then we can close the group and just have people in our group. Does that make sense? And then everybody can put their artwork up and pick out everybody else's artwork. Does that make sense? That's what I was hoping, so that everybody doing this book can upload the pictures, and we can see how people, just what people do with them, which is amazing. So thanks for joining me, guys. This has been a live stream. I started watercolouring with my professional watercolours. Woo! My Imagimoorphia and Animorphia. And again, because I've done it very dry, it's completely dry as that now. And so thank you for joining me, gang. And I'll save the video, and then I'll say goodbye to the gang.